You're in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible, because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, 4th in command in the nation of Israel, Lahab. I'd like to salute this brother. March up. Barak. Yeshabim, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahab.
Come on, brother. I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
Mics. But what's going on, Israel? Shalom. This is Priest and Officer of 1,000 Katab at ISUPK Detroit. And of course, every Friday under Commander Junior Hanna, we do a lashawan qadash class. And a part of this lashawan qadash class, or the biggest part of this lashawan qadash class, is that we're giving back a part of our culture, that language that was took from us, that was, i.e., hidden, or however you want to describe it. This is our original tongue. This is the tongue or the holy tongue of the Most High, hence lashawan qadash. So, with that being said, as you see on the board, real quick before I get started, just so y'all know, we have a feast day coming up in December. It is the Feast of Hanukkah, which is the 25th day of the 9th month for the space of 8 days. That is Sunday, the 14th of December. So FYI, be prepared for that. Let your oppressor know, your work know. Say, hey, it's a feast day coming up, and it started at sundown, so at sundown, I am no longer available. Let's try to get in the habit of putting the Most High first, putting his holy days first, make him a priority. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Last week, we were going over prepositions and highlighting the use or the functionality of prepositions inside of Psalms 121. And just to go over a couple points or notes that we had from last week, I think one of the biggest ones that was, I think, owl by itself, AHL, and that's the I and the lie together. So when it says, I think, unto the hills. So owl by itself simply means unto, but when it's connected with a particular word, it will mean not or will not or the same thing as la'ah. And I think that was kind of a big thing to understand that when you come into the understanding of the Hebrew language, you'll find a lot of words that have it's either you have multiple words that can mean the same thing in the proper context, and then you have many words that might have multiple definitions. Um, the main one that sticks out to me is lacham, and that's the Lacham. When you look it up, that's the word for bread and to fight. So those are one of the things that in the culture or in the language we have to kind of understand so we don't get kind of twisted up in the future. So there's little rules like that get kind of, or little notes like that, that if we commit to memory, one of the things that will happen when we run into those situations, that it just, oh, that's what that is. So I'll with a word means will not, or no, the same thing as lie. Um, is there anything else that stood out? I think the Yathun and Yanawam, or he will not give. Um, to give is Nathan. So Yathun, when you add that Yah, and then it's Al Yanawam, that will give, or Al Yathun, that's he will not give. So um, root words or certain words can kind of create what you would maybe classify as another root word, almost like Shemayim. Like yum, I believe, is the actual word. And then when you look at the breakdown of the word Shemayim, that when you look at the preposition, that's pertaining to the ma is, I believe, what is the preposition of ma? We are going over that. I'm gonna let y'all put it in the chat real quick. Who's gonna give me that real quick in the chat? The teacher stuck. What is the preposition for ma? See if anybody gonna help me out. No, nobody. Not one. Damn. Which means of or from. So sha pertaining to ma, of or from, yum, water, or what you would get waters. So the word shemayim, heaven or heavens, is a word that was kind of created from another word, if that kind of makes sense. I actually want to go deeper into that and just see if there's a finite end to that, like, oh, these are all the words that are created, or is it something that can be endless? But anywho, so if you want to look at the previous classes, it'll have definitely a list of all the prepositions, possessive pronouns, and adjectives. Those are the preposition is the preposition. It sits before that root word. That possessive adjective or possessive pronoun, rather, it goes at the end, so it lets you know who that root word belongs to, or it shows that ownership. So Abba, meaning father, Nawa is our, so our father is Abanawa. And then you have your subject adjectives, Salakia. Your he, she, we, they, masculine, female, masculine, feminine. You have all of those. So when you memorize those, and then you come across certain words, you can easily start putting together what these words, i.e., either mean or, I guess, have a greater understanding of it. So, what we have on the board, we started, I think we ended at verse 3 last week. So, we're going to start off at verse 4. Yeesh. We had more colors. Um, so in verse 4, what you have right here is the Hebrew. As you know, normally we read from right to left when it's scripted out. So when you open up a book, it'll be right to left. But because we're doing a breakdown, it's left to right. But as the script is still scripted, we're reading still right to left. So it's Hana, La'a, Yana Wom, etc. So the first part of this exercise, we're definitely going to just work on identifying the alphabet, which we all should know. Salakia, make sure I definitely go over the alphabet the next time, before we start. Just for the new students coming in, they might not have it. Yeesh. All right, so what we going to do? Should I take the time or be lazy? Put it in the chat. Should we go over the alphabet real quick? Yeah or nay? Wait, everyone believes in Christ or Robert D. All right. So my main man said, Con. So we're gonna adjust this camera. So lock here 1 sec. All right, so we'll have to rock out like that real quick before that camera start moving again. And as you see, I have a big ass sword in my hand. Anyway, so starting from the right to the left, I hope we all can see that. It'd be the same thing for the Assyrian. So uh, starting from the right to the left, you have your ah, your ba, your ga, your da, your ha, your wa, your za, your ha, ta, la, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, kwa, ra, sha, and tha. So up at the top, you have the ancient Hebrew. And then at the bottom, you have the more modern or the Assyrian Hebrew. This is the Hebrew that you will see in most books. When you open up your Blue Letter Bible app and other apps, this is the script that you will see. We pronounce it the exact same. So when you see in their pronunciations, they have vowels and so forth. In the future, I'll retouch on the class that'll give you, I guess, a better foundation of why we pronounce the words the way we pronounce. But just a simple Google search, what you will find is ancient languages didn't have vowels. I'll put that out there. Ancient languages didn't have vowels. Yeesh. Uh-oh. Wait. Okay. Yeah, I'm adding people to the stage. Why? I'm not really sure. You know, just in case they want to tap in one time for the one time. So yeah, ancient languages or earlier languages didn't have vowels. So or vowels as such as like the eyes and so forth. If you want to have that understanding, the sounds of the alphabet, ba, ga, those are more, and the letters are just more of kind of guide points to kind of help you pronounce it. But imagine it's just the breath coming from the sound, if that's a way to describe it originally. So if you say ah, that's just, I'm not saying I'm saying ah. That's all I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying. So why to somebody? Um, by the same thing. So it's not necessarily by when you're trying to emphasize the ah. The ah is more of just the sound and the breath coming out as you speak. Anywho, so at the bottom, the only difference in the script, I mean, is the script, and then the end, which is here, you will see that you have two different ways of writing these particular words. So the ka at the end of a word in Assyrian will be scripted like that. The ma at the end of the word will be scripted like that. Anywhere else in the word, it'll look like that. So those are a little note that it kind of help you as you're reading. You won't get confused. I've done that before. I thought that the ma was like a sa. And if you look at it, like I saw that at the end of the word, and it was, I'm thinking it was this because I didn't commit to memory that ma has an alternate ending. This kind of looks similar to the wa. You know, this kind of similar to the da and maybe the ra if you look at it at a glance. So yeah, their script sucks, but it is what it is. All right, so let me go back and fight with this camera. All right, so how we looking? All right, so reading it out, and then we're gonna write it out first. Will be the first portion, part of the exercise, real quick. You have, and I guess I did go over it pretty fast. And then just for the new people, when you see this symbol that is curved up, that is a kind of like a telltale point that that particular character is pronounced by itself. And then when you see it curve like this, which connects one to another, it's pronounced together. And then you usually drop off one of the ahs or the a's, if you would have it. So you have hana, hana, la'a, yanawam, wa la'a, ya yashun, sha wamar, ya shar Allah. So we'll write that out. You have Hana La Yan Yan Ya Nah, Wom. Yeah, I kind of be running out of room sometimes, so bear with me. Wa la ya yashun sha wa mar, and then I'm gonna kind of just I'll bunch it up. Yeah, ya shar la. So that's how you would write out the pronunciation of it. Again, a lot of the times you want to say that out loud, say it out loud at different tones or pitches, because sometimes saying it in your head, you got it. Then when you start saying it out loud, you might stumble. You can kind of whisper it, and you'll feel confident. But then when you kind of put some voice or some pitch or some more energy behind it, you might stumble up. So practice saying it. So Hana La'a, Yana Wam, Wala'a, Ya Yashan, Shawamar, Ya Sharala. What is that saying? That will be the second part. What are we saying? So Hana simply means to behold. La'a means no or not. In this context, will not. Yana Wam is slumber. So will not slumber. Wala'a and yeah, I just clicked that pen close because you know what's coming. You guys seen it. This right here would be your preposition. Wa la'a and will not. So identifying those will kind of help you identify root words and then kind of form your speech pattern and how do you want to pronunciate it. Do you want to just say walaha wala'a or wa la'a? Sometimes as beginning, you might want to slow it down and pronounce it all the way out so you can make sure you're saying it right, saying the right things, etc. And then for those around you, so they will kind of get that separation as they learn as well. So I guess I'll take my own advice. Yeah. So you have Yaya Shun. Yeshun is sleep. Change this pen color. That Yah is he, that preposition. So directly and will not he sleep, but in context of what you're saying, behold, he will not slumber and he will not sleep. So let me look at that. Behold, he will not slumber. No, that's in it. And he will not sleep. That's just the end of that. What I just said was kind of right in context of you'll see in other verses, and maybe we'll come across one to where the literal translation of it will kind of sound choppy, but after you look at it all, you'll see the context of what it's saying, and you know from the Western world, it'll just flow smoothly saying it like this. But in this particular instance, Shawamar that keepeth is not necessarily that. And then Yasharala is. So behold, he will not slumber and he will not sleep. He that keepeth Israel, essentially. The person that's keeping Israel will not slumber nor sleep. Give you a second to write that down. No possessive adjectives, and I guess any of those in this one, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's get the next line. The next line, verse 5. In this instance, we'll write out the Hebrew and then we'll go over it. So you have Yahweh, you have your Yah. See, I just looked up. Don't judge me. Yeah. Ha. Well, it's nothing wrong with just double checking, because like a brother will always tell me, shout out to Shariwan, he would say, you know what, actually I had it right. But for some reason I was going to write the ha in Assyrian. And anyway, so just double check the things before you put it out, because as I'm teaching, I could teach something and I make a clerical error or writing error, and then 5,000 brothers behind me then wrote the same thing, and now I got 5,000 brothers going wrong. So like it. Anyway, so you have your Shah, your Ma, your Ra, and then you have your Ka. Shah, Ma, but because they're together, it's Shah. Oh, Salakia. They're not together. The Mars together. So you have your Shah, Mar, the Ma, and the Ra together. You drop one of the A. So Shah, Mar, Ka. And what would Ka be? Anybody know? That Ka is not at the beginning, it's at the end. So what would that Ka be? Anybody knows? That Ka will be the Yor. I'm pretty sure y'all had it. Y'all look back at your notes and was like, yeah, that's a possessive adjective. Y'all didn't say that? I'm alone on that one. Somebody said that. Well, if y'all didn't, y'all know now. We'll make it that simple. So, Shamar means to watch. In this context, to watch, to keep, to protect. Ka, your or thy. So you have Ka. I guess I'll change the pen color. Of course, we know that Yahweh is the Lord's proper name. So in the scripture, you might see the Lord, capital Lord. Even though it's majority of the times you see it's capital Lord, that's talking about Yahweh himself. Sometimes you see that capital Lord, and it's not referring to him, but in context or whatnot, you'll find that out. That could be another class. So you have Shamar Kai, the Lord. Now, one of the things that we see a lot of the times, you'll kind of see patterns repeated. So when you see a certain pattern, I guess you would kind of I guess I would say just memorize it when you see certain patterns, or you sometimes just like words, when you see the same word come over and over again, it's like now you don't have to sound it out, you just know it because you're familiarized with it. So thy keeper. Now, one of the things that's inserted in the text before I move on real quick is the word is, and that was in parentheses, so it'll say God is thy keeper. But is technically isn't scripted there, so that's a telltale sign when it's in parentheses that a lot of the times what's in parentheses is not technically there. It's deduced from the context of what's written, if that's a better word, because I don't want to say assume. Then you have Yahweh again, God, Lord. Some texts you'll just see the word God. Other times you'll see Lord. So say God, Lord. When we read the prayer, when it says the Lord, we just say Yahweh. We say his name. Now you have Tazal, Kai. Tazal, the root word is shade. That Kai at the end is that possessive adjective that lets you know whose shade, thy shade, or your shade. It could mean either or, thy shade, your shade, same thing. That's what that possessive adjective is. Our yad, al simply means upon. Yad is hand. Thy shade upon. And then yum yun ka. Yum yun, for my Hebrew Academy graduates, means right. Ka is thy. So I guess this is that example I was just talking about a little while ago. And let's see if I could say it without butchering it. All right, so what you see here is Tozal is shade, Ka is thy or your. So thy shade, al yad upon hand, yum yun ka, thy right. So technically, thy right or thy shade or thy right hand would sit better right here. Thy shade or your shade upon thy right hand. So sometimes when you're looking straight down at it, it kind of sound choppy. But then when you see the sentence, it's easier just to know, oh no, that's what it clearly says, or that's what it's saying, instead of as choppy as it was. I kind of say that right. Simply meaning, when you look at it, the Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. So we started at verse 4. Behold, he that keepeth Yasharahla, he that keepeth Israel, shall neither slumber nor sleep. Verse 4, Yahweh is thy keeper, Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand, is how you would actually say it. Yahweh is thy keeper, Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. I guess that kind of gets it, right? No? Yes, no? All right, so as you know, as we move forward, we go to the next section. If you need to take notes on this, screenshot it. I think I'm gonna try it a different way the next time. But yeah, screenshot it, blow it up, zoom in. That's what's dope about YouTube. You can zoom in on it. And then I'm gonna play a quick song, and then we'll get right back to it as I get the board ready. Because sometimes I don't want y'all to see I be struggling writing on the board just a little bit sometimes.
According to God, the white man is the devil.
You see, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white ass, need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that bygone. Boy, ask you to stop and ask you to prop. It's about to get serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, what the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. He cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed it up for parole because of the COVID. It feel like the host in this world that don't go together. Nowhere is gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settled. Yeah, see the prophets. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you the prophets. You know, like we all come together. You know, they say God so loved the world. God so loved the world, and no, boy, your ass need to stop and ask you the prophets. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, we don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you to I'm gonna step on side for show to the fake niggas. Stay silent, I got it, let's go. I ain't taking no loss, ain't no token when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just play with you. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell him we can't keep me slave. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got your baby mother on high, got your baby pants through the fire. Ask you the prophets, that baby soul belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Your devil will fail you, bitch, I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Push your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop and ask you the prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist, to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up to serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga.
I guess y'all kind of caught me still writing. I guess that ain't too bad. I was trying, at least. Let me make this correction. I need to slide that down so I can fit this last word in there real quick. All right, that don't look too bad. It don't look too crazy, right? It ain't too crazy. All right, so you see verse 6 we have in the Hebrew, and then verse 7 we have wrote out in the English, the pronunciation of it. So we're going to kind of follow that same pattern we did the last time. And let's write out what's said. So you have Yah Wamum. So you have Yah Wamum. Ha Shamash. Ha. I guess Shamash. La'a Yakaka. So La'a Ya Kaka why you rock, why you rock, bala ya la, bala bala ya la. Yeah, that's right, right? Yeah. All right. I ain't gonna look at too many more times. All right. So you have Yahweh, who know what that word means? Yahweh. I mean, I'm pretty sure if y'all didn't went over the prayers like a million, bazillion, gazillion times, y'all know what it is. So you have by day. So that first word, Yahweh, would mean by day. Hashamash, ha is your preposition. Shamash is sun. So the sun. Highlight that. Ha, ha, ha. That's your prepositions right there. The sun. Now you see la'ah. Before we were using ah sometimes, but la'ah yakaka. So yakaka, smite. Who are you smiting? Thee. So you have kind of a little multiple things at play here. So la'ah's here. La'ah. I guess I should write it out. Shall not smite, shall not smite. Grab another color. So you have your la'ah shall not. That what you have there. Then you have your Yakaka. Now, based off of what we've went over so far, could anybody like point out what that next word, how will we break down or isolate that next word? Not smite thee. Just a quick question.
Sluggy, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
You asking for the Bala Yala?
Not yet. We at the La'a Yakaka.
Oh, Sluggy.
Yep. Yep. Shall not smite thee. So shall not. So the Yakaka, you have the La'a Yakaka, the shall not smite thee, and then you have the wire rock right next to that. Who want to take a shot at the wire rock? If anybody wants to, that might be a little better.
Sluggy, sir. It is this is just a guess, but I think the wa is and I think the Yarak is moon.
Correct. But now the brother is absolutely correct. The brother is absolutely correct. So we're gonna say and moon. And then when we look at the actual, like when we read it out, so what we'll see in the Bible, it says, the sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. So in this context, that why is and it can mean nor, if that makes sense. And I guess you said that, I guess that means the same thing as well. So if you're saying and you're saying nor, that means the same thing. Because when I came across it, I was thinking in my head was, why wouldn't they just say and the moon by night, nor the moon by night? That's literally one of the other words that can mean different things just based off of how the writer used it in the sentence. But technically, and nor to me means the same thing. And in addition to, or to add to something, to put something together. But in this context, you're saying the sun shall not smite thee, nor the moon either, and the moon won't do it either. You know, if that kind of makes sense. So you're right in your answer, but I didn't want people to go to actual Psalms 121 and then look at it and says, well, it says and the moon, you know, or nor the moon. You know what I mean?
Salakia, sir.
Kind.
And you know, something I noticed, which is why I think it's such a heavy thing that we read out of the King James Bible, because the words they use for the translation, it fits so perfectly.
Kind. And that's heavy that he said that, because to me, that's how easy it is to start meshing and messing up somebody's understanding of that verse when you don't get, when the context of that word that you're translating, when you leave it for it can be assumed to mean something else. When in Hebrew, it means what it means, especially when you know what it means. You know what I mean? It's like you have the NIV or the New King James Version. I believe a few Sabbaths ago, a brother was reading, and I just looked around because when I'm hearing it, I'm not hearing what I'm reading, and it's a little different. So then as you're pointing out, when you go to certain words in the Hebrew, the KJV, it has a closer sentiment for the translation to what the actual Hebrew means. So that is a good point. Because a lot of times when you start looking at the ESV, to me, you'll get lost looking at the ESV trying to go to Blue Letter Bible and follow the Hebrew. Because what it says in the English Standard Version is not what the Hebrew is saying damn near at all. It's like they're adding 12 more words to try to make you get the understanding, and they kind of left you away from what it really meant in a way. So, yeah, that's a good point. So then at the end, you have Bala Yala, and that ba would be a preposition, and Yala would be night. I guess I should have put that in another color and followed suit, but I didn't. So by day the sun shall not smite thee, nor the moon by night. So the sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. All right, so we got the next line. We all know what that word is. That'd be Yah, Ha, Wa, Yah, Sha. Let me make sure I wrote that right. Oh yeah, Yashamar. I didn't spell that right at all. That's better. Yasha Mar Ka Ma Call Rai When I get to that one, that was going to be kind of interesting. That one always threw me off. I'm going to tell you why a little bit later. Ya Sha Mar Ath Na Posh Ka. All right. Yeah, it kind of sounded a little slow at the end. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So what do we have here? So you have Yahweh. Got a little dust on that. We don't want to show nobody our dust on the tail of the sword. That means we ain't killed nobody with it yet. Feds. So you have Yahweh, Yah, Shamar, Ka, Yashamar, Ka, Makorai. So it was for a while when I first got in. I didn't understand certain words not having certain things. So it's like, why didn't have this Ra have the A and then the I for Rai, McCall Rai? You know what I mean? And it was another word. I think it's Anya. Is it Anya? Yeah, Anya is A-N Y-A-H. And I'm thinking, why doesn't it have the H after the I? Basically, that I doesn't have a to make that breath sound after it, that sound after it. It's just I. But the ra does. So you would drop the a following the same suit when it's two words connected. You drop the a and just have the I. So it's just Rai instead of Ray. I guess Rai would be Ray. So you have ma, call, Rai, ya, sha, mar. The ma and the ra is connected. Ath. You have your na, pash. The pa and the sha is connected. Ka. All right, so let's break that down. All right, so real quick, that preposition ma, we see that. Well, I guess we'll go in order. I'm going straight for the preposition. So you have either understanding God or the Lord. I say Yahweh because that's his name. Yah Shamar Ka, that Ka. Yah Shamar. Who knows what Yah Shamar means? We should know what Shamar means, right? Right. That Yah in front of it, shall preserve, shall preserve, and then that ka is that possessive adjective. Who are you preserving? You're preserving thee or you. So that Yah Shamar, and I believe that was in the third verse before, when it's connected with it, it's shall preserve. So, that was the example of Yathan. So when it says al Yathan and Yathan was shall give, that al, of course, meant la'ah, the same thing, shall, meaning not, and then that Yah son, that Yah instead of na, meaning he shall not give, or he shall not. Oh yeah, so that was in verse 3. So it says, "Al Yathan, he will not suffer." So that Yah changes it to he, and of course, I in this context, when it's connected with a word, it gives you the same understanding as la'ah. Anyway, but the object of who is doing the preserving is Yahweh. So then you have Makal Rai. So you have Ma. We should know what that kind of stands out. Boop. Oh, we got some. Any comments? I guess I haven't checked the chat in a while. Shalom, sis. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal, Tabashim, Yahweh Shah. Man, we got to make it up to Sag Nasty one time, man. They've been. Oh, that's why you said that. God bless everyone. Praise Jesus Christ forever. Believe in Jesus to receive eternal life right now. Oh, so that's what you was talking to, Shari Wine. You said, I was wondering, like, what is he talking about? What's going on, Olivia? Shalom. Olivia Arnold. Man, I hope that's not somebody rib. I'm just saying a slave name. Anywho, right back at it.
Sorry about that.
And of course, Shari One, you can jump in at any time. Anytime you want, you can jump in.
Salaki, if I could.
Con.
Nah, just to Robert, because I see him in here all the time. The scriptures say Christ told his disciples that if you hear people teaching another doctrine, just leave them alone. You know what I mean? Because if they, what did Christ say? No man can cast out a demon, or no man can perform a miracle who lightly speaks evil of me. I'm paraphrasing it. You know what I mean? And he said that because if there's somebody else there teaching something else, they can't do nothing. They have no power.
Right.
To be in here in somebody else's, chat or whatever, trying to convert people to Christianity, that goes exactly against what Christ said to do. Salaki.
What's weird is, and you definitely right to point that out, but I think it's interesting that a lot of people do that, but then they don't really want to have that conversation though. It's like they just kind of want to say what they got to say and run. And when they do that, it has no substance behind it. And to me, they just do it for the real weak that maybe can't think for themselves and see the little game that they running. But to me, if I had enough energy and I used enough time to know when these brothers have their class, to watch their class and then chime in and drop a chat. And if I disagree, and they've said multiple times, come up to let's discuss these disagreements. To me, when you don't want to, you should just leave it alone. That means you're not here to bear no fruit. You're not here to do the work that you even claim that you're doing because you had the opportunity to, i.e., correct me possibly, or get corrected yourself. But you chose to just, let me put this out there. And then when they say, hey, let's have this conversation, oh, you're a hate group, and then they run away. And they run very fast. But yeah. Damn right. Satan can't cast out Satan. This brother's in here trying to do something other than make a fool out of himself, and he's failing at it. He's failing horrible at it. Anyway, call rye. Call. I'm gonna just give it to y'all. That's all. Who knows what that ma is? And I'm gonna give you the rye. Rye means evil. Who knows what that ma, that preposition, that preposition? Ma. And then you have from. So that preposition can mean of or from. So everybody knows it can mean of or from. And then you have next Yashamar. I know everybody should, they should get that one. We're back here. He shall preserve. Same word. At this time, it doesn't have the ka at the end. It's just Yashamar. And then Ath, Napashka. So a few classes, maybe a month or so ago, I ain't even gonna say a few classes. A couple months ago, it was rough, y'all. It was rough. Ath is a word that has a meaning, but doesn't have a meaning, but has a function. It has a function showing, connecting this portion to this portion. If you kind of understand that, without having an actual meaning, it means nothing. Yeah, it means nothing. So it's not, you're not going to look up "af" in the Hebrew dictionary and it's going to say "af" meaning and, or "af" meaning bars. It doesn't have a definition, but it has a function. So I don't want you to think it doesn't mean absolutely anything. It does have a function. But Napash is soul. And then Ka again, when you're looking at, previous words, it kind of gives you, I guess, a cheat code, or it's not even a cheat code. It's just common sense. So sometimes when you get a word, so if you wanted to say soul in the future and you were going over this and then you came here, you can write this down as like one of your vocabulary words. That's what soul means. Napash means soul. Now, I will say this. The only danger in that is sometimes you'll have words that soul, you might have 3 different words for soul. So you might be trying to use soul in the future in a contents where another word was used, might be needed to be used. But that's in the future. So, but Napash, you can definitely use soul there. I don't think it's actually too many different Hebrew words for soul. Now that I'm thinking about it. But so to read that out, in the Hebrew, you have Yahweh, Yashamar Kai, Makal Rai, Yashamar Af Napashka. What does that say? That says, Yahweh, which is the Lord, shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. He shall preserve thy soul. So again, sometimes as you're just directly translating it, you'll read it. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve soul thy. If you kind of did it directly. And so that's a better way to identify what I meant directly to as well. So not only do you have certain words concept wise, you can say boom, 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 and it sounds brutish if you read them in that order. But in the word itself, Napash Soul Ka, if you directly translated it like that, it says soul thy. But you know that that's a possessive adjective that gives ownership to whose soul is being referred to, and in consequent, you would say thy soul. You wouldn't say soul thy.
Salak, the other one.
Come on, sir.
Salak, I was trying to understand that word oth. Like, when it says shamar, is it saying, is oth kind of pointing to what it's watching over? Like is that how it's connecting the 2 words?
Yes. Yeah. So, and you're referring to a verse, I think that's because oth is used somewhere else. Let me find it real quick. Oth is, it might have been in the first 3 verses. Yeah. I don't see it in this one. Outside of the one we just used it, I don't see Af Shamar, that phrase.
No sweat. I'm looking for it too. I didn't see it.
But essentially, I do think if it was used that way, or if that was written, that's how it would be used, and it would be used to connect those 2, or to let that person know who is doing the watching.
Okay, come. The water, sir.
You know what? Let me take note on that because I want to say the brother from Texas, he did a good quick little breakdown on off. Now it's in some of my earlier notes, but yeah. I'm gonna double check that and we'll go over that when we come back. Probably definitely next week. How much time we got left? Yeah, I can't really check that now. I can get this last verse up here though. So just reading it out from verse 6, you will have Yawamam Ha Shamash La'a Yakaka Wa Yarak Bala Yala. So shout out to Shariwan because we was all pronouncing this word wrong. Well, I ain't gonna say we. I'm gonna say I was pronouncing this word wrong. But like even as you see it written out, it helps you understand the pronunciation of it. So you have the ba as that preposition. You see that the la and the ya are pronounced separately, and then you have that la at the end, the la and the ha connected, which is just la again, essentially. You're not gonna say la to try to get that extra H sound on it. Anyway, verse 7, Yahweh Yashamar Kai Makar Rai Yashamar Athnapash. All right, verse 8. Verse 8. I don't feel like putting another song on right now. I feel like one day I'm gonna click a button and then I'm getting old and my vision going. I ain't gonna know how to click the right button to get back on there, so I'm gonna just leave it be. So what's going on in Canada, Shariwan? Nothing major happening? People living, dying?
Ain't nothing. They doing their usual heathen festivities. Halloween. They got Remembrance Day or something like that coming up.
Remembrance Day. I don't know, but dead ass. I never heard of that one.
Oh, they don't have Remembrance Day in the States?
Nah, what is that?
I think Remembrance Day is something about remembering the
what, Thanksgiving?
No, like their military nonsense. I don't know. Veterans. That's what I think it's called. I think you guys have Veterans Day.
Yeah, we got Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Yes. You thinking that Canada so much a part of us, and they just do everything the same. And then what's funny is I don't know what I was watching a little while ago, but they were talking about the many different gods that I guess the Buddhist culture has. It was a little short video, and it's something I actually want to ask one of the generals, or I ask Cap first about yoga. So they were saying how these yoga poses are direct praise poses to other gods. So in my head, it's just like, okay, if that's the case, is yoga something that we should be doing as Israelites? Now, if I say I'm just using this pose for stretching, then I think about that verse of flee from the appearance of evil, etc., etc. So it's just like, yeah, I'm interested. If that's true, should we be doing yoga for exercise?
If I could, sir, I saw a sister who went from Christianity, and she had a personal business, so like a personal training business, and in her personal training, she started picking up yoga, became a yoga instructor, and her office started off with, just how would I say? It just felt like a regular kind of stretching yoga class, and then it slowly switched to seeing incense being burned everywhere and sage being burned, and there's elephants and Shiva and
right. Now you're decorating your Zen room. Have this meditation room, and then they say, well, no, just add this one little noise.
Yeah, kind of
little ding. So I mean, yeah.
It could start off in just one way,
and then snowball. So,
yeah.
And I think that's why the scripture is just so blunt in certain things. That's why, like, when sometimes, like, so I do. Damn, should I say this out loud on the internet? How many people we got watching? Only 3 of y'all watching. It's okay. I do talk to myself. Like, I be having whole conversations. And I be like, man, if you do that shit, you know what's gonna happen, bro. Yeah, but that's only that. And then as one side of me tries to justify it and try to find that loophole in that first scripture that popped in my head, then like Qadash's head voice will pop in my head, and certain scriptures are just the scriptures that he didn't crack me over the head would just start popping out. Satan can't cast out Satan. You should flee from the appearance of evil. So
right.
Even talking about this, but like he would just cut right to the jugular. Where sometimes I'd be like, man, I kind of need to be walked around the corner on this one, and then after that, after he cut my jugular, then he'll walk me around the corner. Not I walk around the corner bleeding out. But it's just like, so when you see that scripture says flee from the appearance of evil, now it's in my soul that it's like, man, I see that direct connection. I can see it clearly appearing to be evil. Why am I still discussing this now? I shouldn't be discussing it. It's clear as day right there, So I mean, that's just for me. If you one of them brothers that need further counseling, Most High in Christ, go get it. Me, I don't know. When I get that one counseling, or when I know that scripture say something clear as day, I want to leave it at that. Like, I don't want my fleshly mind to start trying to overthink and think it's smarter. Nah, it says flee from the appearance of evil. It can't get no clearer than that. So like, as we move into this holiday season, the holiday pagan holiday season, when the scripture says, "Come out of her, my people, and partake in none of her ways," if you didn't see the Israelites or Christ do it in the Bible, start there with it at least. I know some of you idiots, some of you, and this was me, because I'm gonna say I'm a person that's gonna say, all right, we're gonna explore that train of thought you just said. I've never seen Christ use a cell phone, and then that's the demon in me that's like, bro, come on, shut up. Now you're just talking stupid. They didn't have cell phones back then, but I'm pretty sure if it was cell phones out, Christ might have used one. But it wasn't one of those things that I was attacking the point. I'm more or less attacking the logic of the point, and then sounded even more stupid in doing that. Like, that question is just clearly calls out the demon. Like, you want to stand what you stand in. You just said something stupid.
If I could, I'd have won.
Go ahead.
You know, something General Mayak said that's so heavy. Because as you were saying that, you know, part of my mind's thinking the scriptures say that, you know, we're supposed to communicate often. You know what I mean? So to have the ability to use a cell phone is like we can call brothers at any time. You know what I mean? And it's like, as I was thinking through that, this is why General Bayak said, none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I mean, like, we need the ISUPK to tell us what to do. You know what I mean? Because without that, you're going to be lost as hell. So like,
facts. And it's in the name of ISUPK, there's something that I feel like goes over a lot of people's head, the practical knowledge part of it. Universal and practical knowledge part of it. So as we're reading these scriptures, I don't feel like people in 2025 try to connect how does this scripture apply to me in 2025. I think in their head it just goes back on that. That was them back in the day when they was dealing with this. Nah, we still dealing with the same thing. I'm pretty sure they had a version of a cell phone back in the day, something that allowed them to either communicate or access evil. I don't know. I don't know, because that's all I see out of these cell phone communication and the access to evil. And I feel like that was one of the biggest, I ain't gonna say one of the biggest plots, but to give, I mean, just think of the power our kids have in the palm of their hand phone, in their hand when they have a phone in their hand. I mean, especially with Chat GPT out here and all of these AI. I mean, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and it was like, well, I need help with writing such and such, such and such. I'm going to ask Chat GPT to do it for you. Oh, yeah, you right. And now we ain't even using our own brain. So, yeah, I guess it's a gift and a curse. That's why you need us to even tell you how to use Chat GPT. Because y'all will use it to figure out, should I keep my baby or not? Chat GPT said. All right, so where we at? Let's finish this off. All right, so we got Yahweh, Taz. Let me make sure I got. Oh, that's because I didn't start over here. I was like, man, I don't remember seeing that word by itself like that before. So it's Yashamar Taza'athka. So Yashamar Taza'ath. I wonder if that could be a. We'll see. Waba'aka, Waba'aka. Hey, yeah, we should start saying things slower too. Cause I looked at that and I didn't know what that was. I'm like, how am I supposed to pronounce that? And I had to say it as we would say it in the prayers to get it. So maybe that's just my brain. Why? All right, so one of the things that I always tried to find out was, all right, so how do we know? So like if we're reading the scroll and the scroll didn't have these particular marks letting you know what was connected or not. Certain words, I kind of could figure it out easily. And in other words, it would be almost like impossible a little bit. But that's what I guess a part of the finding out the root words, your prepositions, and so forth might help you to do to be able to say, well, if I know that that preposition right there, that first character right there is a preposition, and that last character is a possessive adjective, then that means the three characters in between is the root word. And if you can identify that root word, then you can be like, well, I know that root word and it's pronounced this. So that means the pronunciation would be wa, ba, wa, ah, ka, instead of wabba, wa, ka. You know what I mean? Because let's say, what the fuck did I? That was my see, I was going crazy. I dead ass had this up there for the I, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is supposed to be English. Or anyway, so what I was saying was, so if you knew what this was and what that was, and you were identifying that, if this was just the example, I wouldn't say waba waba wa ka, because I knew that that word here was ba wa ah. Like if I knew the word root word was ba wa ah and that was the word such and such, then I knew how to pronounce that versus leaving them separate or connecting them. Yeah, I just probably talked y'all out of the understanding. Sometimes I'm gonna just say that shit and just leave it. Cause sometimes I'll be over explaining it, and then I think I'll walk y'all down the dark alley and be like, what the fuck was he saying? All right, and then you have that last word or phrase, wa'id walum. Wa'id walum. Wa'id I walum. All right, so I think I did pretty good. Well, we'll see. We'll see when we get to Wobble with Akka if we got lost. So we know what this is. The Lawad Yashamar shall preserve Taza'ath Ka. So Taza'ath, to go out, to go. Ka simply mean thy, so thy going out. And there is something I want to bring to y'all attention. So Ka, all right, so I had to make sure I get this right. I don't want to say this wrong. Because this is one of those things that, like, when you learn it, it's a rule, and that's what it is. So, ka at the end of a noun is your, and then ka at the end of a verb is you. So, that I shamar means to watch. Then you have the yah, that watch is going to be preserved in this context. So it's shall preserve. We already know who is doing the preserving because that's Yahweh. But the understanding will become like who is the verb being done to, I guess is the question that would be better asked. Who is the verb being done to? The verb would be being done to you, thy, because you're the one that's being preserved. You're the one that's being watched over. So it's not who's, in this instance, it's not who's doing the preserving, it's who's the verb being done to, for that connection. So then you have I feel like I'm missing a word. Let me double check. Oh, okay. So breaking down where we at, wabba wa'aka. What does wabba wa'aka mean? I didn't leave out a word. I just spaced it differently when I wrote it down. So I'm looking at the paper on my board, tripping, trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So you have wa and ka. Bawa'a. What does bawa'a? So wa is your preposition, and ka is your possessive adjective, thy. So and thy coming in, bawa'a is that root word. That's kind of what I was trying to highlight. Bawa'a is that would be the root word. So if you kind of knew that word and you knew your prepositions and you knew your possessive adjectives, when you saw that word in the Hebrew without like the helper marks, waba wa'aka, without these helper marks, waba wa'aka, you could say, well, I know that's a preposition. I know that's the possessive adjective. So this is the word. And I know waba wa'a means coming. So I can pronounce it as wa ba wa'a ka. I guess that's how it's pronounced anyway, because none of those are connected. So, but if someone was connected, you get the point. Goddamn. So the last word, why, we should know what that is. I'd. So you have your why and I'd even. So what is I walum? What does I walum mean? So I meaning even, I walum meaning kind of like forever, always. So it gives you that understanding of forever more. I think that's it. Kind of. right, so from the top, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Wabawa'aka. You know what? See? I'm not going crazy. I'm not going crazy. I did miss a word. So it's Wabawa'aka Ma'athai Awalon. Jesus. That kind of frustrated me a little bit because I double checked it and I looked at my paper and I kept reading it in my head. Like, I know that's not how that sounds. So Ma'athai. So Aithai, when you look it up, if you go to the Blue Letter Bible and you look up Aithai, you'll get the understanding of now. You'll get that understanding. And then ma is your preposition of or from. So, and thy coming in and Salakia. Oh, Salakia. And thy going out and thy coming in. So, ma meaning from. I thought when you look at it in the Hebrew, meanings now or from this point. You guys look that up, you can get to that understanding. So from this time forth would be like how it's scripted. From this time forth.
Salakia, sir.
Con.
That's a good word to start using in the house. The water.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and but see, those are those words that I feel like when you start knowing these, that it kind of bring a lot of that the language more together because I'm thinking when I first heard the breakdown, it connected because it was just like, all right, I see that Ithah just means now when you look it up. But in this context of what they're trying to say is from this time, from this point or from this time forth. So it's like you see the levels of how they get to from what it means directly until how the author scripted it out when they were translating it. Like I can see that connection a lot more in going through these exercises. So yeah, Most High in Christ.
Hey, Salaki Adawan. I believe the young man has a question.
Oh, Most High in Christ.
Question in the private chat.
Now, if you want to for me to answer the question during the class, that's fine. If you want to just hit me up after the class, I can definitely put my number in the chat and then you just hit me up then.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Oh, I forgot you on here. You can ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Yeah, sorry, I was in the gym.
I'm here.
Bro. I was in the gym, bro, listening to it. That was my music, man. You guys talking. So yeah.
All right. So what's your question, Chief?
Nah, so fuck. I didn't sign this way, but like, I got asked by a nice ISUPK officer, right? About because I'm about to date this girl on Saturday, right? Who is Nigerian. and he fucking nearly had a like fit. He's over here like, nah, you gotta go to class. You gotta talk to this guy, talk to this guy. He'll tell you everything.
So I kind of caught bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the wind as well. I'm also walking, so if you can hear the wind.
Shariwan, did you catch his question?
No, you got a lot of wind or something in the background. It was hard to hear.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm kind of walking, you know.
All right, no sweat. So what I'm gonna do, I just put my number in the chat. So yeah, after the class, just shoot me a text. I'm about to close out now, so yeah, you can just shoot me a text and we can rap about it. I'm pretty sure it'll come over a lot clearer over the phone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right. What you got for me, Shariwan? So next week, I figure out we'll do a fast recap on the prepositions, possessive adjectives, and subject pronouns, and then we'll kind of do, I guess, give some examples of prepositions in those, and then it'll kind of touch that Leviticus 23, since we got a couple more feast days coming up. I think Leviticus 20, if not the whole 23, I think I'm gonna point out, or at least pull out about 7-8 verses from Leviticus 23 that we'll be able to work with, kind of break down a little further. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Shariwan, you got nothing? Nothing? Something?
No, the water for the class.
No sweat, no sweat. All right. That being said, Mina Israel, I Majum Shabbat, I Majum, Barak, Yahaba Shem, Yajimata, dismiss. The water, everybody, for tuning in.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news 2026 rings in with extreme weather from coast to coast. Snow and bitter cold from the Great Lakes to the Northeast. Millions waking up to frigid temperatures. A heavy snow squall ripping through Pennsylvania into upstate New York. While in the West, millions of Americans are under a flood threat as another round of heavy rain and mountain snow hits California. The Rose Parade, a near washout. Our weather team standing by. What's in store for the coming week? The deadly New Year's Day tragedy in the Swiss Alps. Dozens killed in a fire at a bar just after midnight. The frantic scene, flames quickly spreading, people running for their lives. The Swiss president calling it one of the worst tragedies the country has ever experienced. Tom Sufi Burridge from the scene. A new year and a new reality. Healthcare costs soar for more than 20 million Americans ahead of the looming political fight over affordability. And the dramatic reversal. President Trump abandons efforts to deploy the National Guard to 3 major cities. Selena Wang reporting from South Florida. Zohran Mamdani makes history, officially becoming mayor of the country's largest city. The enormous challenges ahead and his message to New York and the world. Aaron Katursky reporting. The new boat strikes, the Pentagon releasing video of one attack officials say killed 5 alleged drug smugglers, and another deadly strike on a convoy of 3 boats. Survivors spotted in the water. Now the race to find them. The urgent manhunt after a dentist and his wife are found dead. Their 2 small children located unharmed inside the home. A dog dumped in a trash compactor comes up really lucky. How she found her forever home. And parents, this one's for you. The annual tradition still going strong. After 50 years, the list of words that wore out their welcome in 2025.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and thank you for starting the new year with us. I'm Mary Bruce, in for David. We begin with the dangerous weather from coast to coast, bitter cold and snow in the Northeast, and another round of flooding and mudslides threatening Southern California. This time-lapse video capturing the snow accumulating over Pittsburgh's Neville Island Bridge. That wider area also getting hit by snow and lightning. Buffalo, New York could see more scenes like these near whiteout conditions. Out west, millions of Americans are now under a flood watch due to heavy rains in Southern California. In Pasadena, rain poured down on the annual Rose Parade for the first time in decades. Parade goers there forced to brave the elements without umbrellas. Our weather team is standing by with the forecast, but first, ABC's Rena Roy leads us off.
Tonight, the new year kicking off with extreme weather on both coasts. Along the Great Lakes, new winter storm warnings in effect. People all over Syracuse shoveling and scraping. Some areas could get at least 3 feet of more snow through this weekend. Happy New Year! Just hours after the ball came down in Times Square, powerful snow squalls moved into the Northeast, dumping nearly half a foot of snow outside Pittsburgh, along with lightning and thunder. In the waterlogged West, more rain. Thousands of families in Southern California bracing for the threat of more mudslides, and in Pasadena this morning, it literally rained on the 137th Rose Parade for the first time in 20 years. With no umbrellas allowed, parade goers braving the weather in ponchos, performers getting soaked along the route. Crews sweeping water off the field at the Rose Bowl ahead of the big game between Alabama and Indiana.
And Mary, back here in the Northeast, we are dealing with wind chills in the teens from New York City to Boston, and tomorrow morning, not looking much better. Mary.
Okay, Rena, thank you. So the big question now, when will the East Coast see some relief from this brutal Arctic air? So let's bring in meteorologist Brittany Bell from our New York station, WABC. Brittany.
Mary, we have to wait until later next week to get some relief from these very cold temperatures. I want to get right to those frigid wind chills early tomorrow morning across the Northeast. It could feel like 11 degrees in New York City, also 15 below across portions of Maine. This Arctic blast also bringing in lake effect snow, and that continues tonight through tomorrow. There's a winter storm warning out for Erie and Buffalo. They could see up to a foot of snow, 1 to 2 feet possible in between Watertown and Syracuse. Now, as we head into next week, the eastern half of the country will likely see warmer than normal temperatures and near normal out west. And the last thing they need out west is more rainfall. They will get that Friday lasting throughout the weekend. A widespread 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible with up to 2 to 4 feet of snow in the mountains. Mary?
Some wild weather to start the year. Brittany, thank you. And overseas now to a New Year's celebration turning deadly as flames ripped through a bar in a Swiss ski resort town. Tonight, a memorial honoring the victims. About 40 people were killed, dozens more injured, and identifying the victims could take days. ABC's Tom Sufi Burge is on the scene tonight in Switzerland.
Tonight, the deadly bar inferno at a New Year's celebration in a
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear,